Now, just to look at the if conditions, the way we can use is that, if there is a value called first, and now what I'll try to do is I'll try to make it little different, but for now I'll make it uh, first value 10. So there are different statements with if condition. If else if it is 20, then by default if something is not 10, not within 10, 20 or 30, I can write like this. Now if the more if conditions you start writing, if else conditions you start writing, what exactly happens is that the readability of the code will go for a toss. You will lose touch with that, what is really happening. Okay, so when you have too many if conditions, preferable approach is that go with a switch case, switch condition. There is something called a switch, and then you can give the first as a parameter, and now there's something called you type case. I'll do the same thing but a little different way. Now using a switch condition, a switch case is something that's actually far better than using a if condition. And it might be that, by looking at the code that I have here in this if condition, it doesn't look like the code has any problem, honestly, because there is hardly one statement in each if condition. But in real life there will be, say, there will be so many lines of code, and you will be writing a lot of logic. Maybe suppose if each if condition has a half page logic, maybe 10 lines or 20 lines or more than that. In that case, obviously then we will lose the track of, what is really happening, or like where I am. I need to look around, go up, down, and then figure out, okay, I am in this context. This logic works only when this condition satisfies. So in this case, what the other alternative we have is switch, and switch takes as int as a parameter, and there are other two things that it can take parameter now with the latest Java versions. I'll discuss that, but now let's only let me try to run this portion. So the best way for me is to modularize my code. It doesn't look like, what I can do is, let me void test switch, and maybe number. I'll take that as a parameter. Now what I will do is, I'll move this logic, to corresponding method so that we will have some better control on that. I'll write the method starting with test, and there is no specific reason, but this will help me to introduce you unit testing, JUnit, sometime later. So now in my main method, okay, now that looks better. Okay, so now my main method doesn't have any code. So what I can do is I can either call the methods test basics. Where is it? Okay. What happened? What happened? Are there any compilation errors? No. Okay, I need to create an object first. Equal to new. What is this called when I use new operator and creating an object? What is the operator thing is called now? This one, the selected variable.
It's an object.
Exactly. It's an object or instance of operators class. Now I can call any method that I want to test. So what I will do is test switch. Now I need to take number as a parameter. Now to make it little interesting, what I will do is I'll take this number as a parameter to my program. So in Eclipse we can do this like this. Run configurations. Look at this. What I did is right click, run. Instead of doing run a Java application, I want to configure this application. Now the program arguments. Now I'll just say maybe say suppose 20. And I don't want to run. Just what I want to do is okay. I'll explain this line. And let me see if my run configuration has this. Perfect. It has the value. See the first value, the number, I need to change the text as well, but the switch case is working fine. Now let me change the input. And you can do this, whatever I'm trying to do, I can change that in either multiple ways. One is run configurations here and right click of it. So suppose let me make it as a 35 and says first value is something else. Similarly, what I can do is I can actually go here in the, see here, like in the top menu, um, run configurations, click on the arguments. So when you are doing this, what the equivalent of this is that, when I am running a program like this, so that's just equivalent of from the command prompt running the program, like say my training / batch 2. Okay, so my code is pretty much here. Yes, and so suppose if I do okay, and then space 30. There is some problem with the class path. See, the value is coming there. So this is how you can give arguments, or I can give multiple arguments. It doesn't anyway. For now, that is not in the context. But what I can do is that apply a for loop. And then try to print all that arguments. Look at this. Whatever arguments I have, till argument length, what I can try to do. Now I can actually run either way. Command prompt, it is easy for me. And let me compile this code. Done. So what I can do is see how many arguments it took. 1, 2, total 5 arguments. Now let me look at my command line thing. I said Java operators 1, 30, 40, then SDF, DF, and DF, SDF. Okay, so if I count the number of words with Java operators 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now there are total 7 words if I look at this particular statement, but the first thing is Java. That's the command that we are executing on the operating system. Next is operators. That is a class name that we want to run. So these two things are not arguments. Whatever follows after that is considered as argument to the program, and that is captured in the main method. Whatever your string array that I am declaring here, it goes into that. So there is a simple logic about the main method, and why do they have an array of string as a parameter? That is to let us provide input to the program manually. So beginning of the program, you can give this input. Okay, and other thing that you may be interested is that there is a new class. And this is an interesting thing. This is the scanner object lets you read from. There are multiple ways you can read the input, and we will have a decent discussion, maybe a few days of discussion on the streams and IO operations. The various ways you can read the IO. I mean input output. You're reading from the console, reading from the file, right? So the related to that we will have a discussion later. And scanner is a class that is introduced, I think, in Java 1.5 or 1.6. That is the latest edition only, and this actually makes life easier. Otherwise the equivalent class I can write that equivalent code is the equivalent code for these two lines is otherwise I'll do buffered reader br equal to new buffered reader within bracket new and new string. Okay, new, what is it? Buffered reader takes input stream reader, I guess. Stream reader within the bracket system.in. So then there is a big hierarchy that will have something called readline. Now when I am actually doing this kind of statement, it is bit the readability is, I mean, understanding this is little difficult. I am creating an object, the constructor takes, and again here I have another one more new object. So it's a bit tricky. So but we will look at that, that kind of stuff when we are looking at the streams. There is a nice design pattern called decorator there, but for now you don't need to worry about it. But then now we got we figured out how to read input. Let me see what is going to happen now. Yeah, see, when I did this, now I'll make it little more interesting. How I will do is that this is fine while number equal to scanner dot next int not equal to say 0, and maybe I should be putting a bracket here. Okay, now this becomes interesting. Let me get rid of this for now. I guess, do I need any one more bracket? Okay, this while has only single line, but still the practice is to have the parentheses properly. Okay, so let me run this. Now the interesting thing is, please pay attention. Okay, so now 20, 30, 40. Program exited actually. You can see that this icon, red active icon, is now not there. That means the program is dead. So here what I really did is that I am trying to read the input continuously and exit only when it is 0. And to make life easy, out.println, what I do is okay. Okay, in the beginning, right. So it says enter a valid input, and the problem is I can it in a better way, but I'll live with this particular implementation for now. Say 30, then maybe enter 10, 0, exit in the program. Okay. Now, still now I did not touch the switch case. Now, if I look at the switch case, where is my switch? Okay, it should test basic is okay. My switch should not be on the top. Take it down. Page. I'll put it here for better readability. And this messaging is something that we did other day. So let me change this to as per the need. So if you have noticed, the syntax for switch is that I write switch, then a number as a parameter, here the variable name. Okay, this is a variable name in this particular context. Now if the value is 10, I want to execute some statements. So for that particular thing, what I'm saying is case. In this case, okay, it really means that okay, if in the case of the value being 10, okay, so execute the logic. And I explicitly mentioned a break statement here. If I don't do it, what exactly happens is that, now we'll see that fun. Now if I run this, okay, so when I say, see, it actually, then now interesting thing, right? So I'll see this and maybe I'll print 40. Let us look at the output. When I give 10, it's executing starting from that particular case. So it will enter, you know, the case, whatever based on the value, it will enter into the this conditions. Okay. If the value is 10, it will execute this line, and it will continue until this if switch block ends, if it doesn't find a break statement. So that is what happened here. In case when I gave 20, everything is printed. Sorry, 10, everything is printed. When I gave 20, it started from 20 and it executed rest. Now when I gave 40, 40, what is 40? 40 will go into default. It doesn't fit into any of this regular conditions. So it will go into default and it will be there. Okay. So that is the reason we must have the break statement without fail. And for default, it doesn't really is needed. It is not really needed. But let me see. Yeah, it will enter into default only when it does not fit in anywhere else. So but still, let me check this out. Usually we have the tendency of putting everything in the default and at the end. But let us see, if I don't have this break, what is going to happen. So we need to have break everywhere. Did you get my point?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the order of execution is that it will try to execute this logic. It will try to execute this logic from the top, and if my default condition is there in the as a first condition within the switch, then it will happen that the default will be executed first when I enter some value that satisfies the default, in the sense it doesn't match with other conditions. Then default gets started, and then whatever statements are there after that also get executed. So please remember that the thumb rule is that we should always have a break statement for each switch condition, the case statement, unless and until your logic requires in otherwise. Suppose if my logic suggests needs that, okay, whatever is required for 10, then if the input is 10, then I want to execute all the, maybe the all other cases. But I have not at least seen that kind of requirement so far. But maybe that it is not something impossible. But I don't think of any use case of that satisfies that. So, and the syntax wise, this is what we have. Okay. So and this also can take other things called, there is this could take, instead of number, this, okay, this switch is done. So I can I'm trying to look at a default enum condition, so I don't find any. It actually does take enum, and also with latest Java, I think in 1.7, the latest one, they do support I think the compiler version in this case, what is the error? Cannot switch to a value of string for source level. Okay. So I need to change. If you can change the source code level to Java 1.7, that I can do that here. Enable the project specific settings and say 1.7. with, now it is possible. So it might happen that the ban never been initialized. So scanner. I'm just trying to read and show you the switch case with next line. And what is this problem? Semicolon. What is that error? That is indeed an error. I need to close. There are too many of them. But otherwise, yes, everything is fine. I did Control Shift F and it did formatting for me. Let me run this now. Expected in the main method, unsupported operator, class version. Okay. Okay, so the basically like my Java version, I think the Java that it is referring to is 1.6. That's the reason I'm getting this error. So I'll switch back to 1.6 and I'll just comment this particular block. Okay, what I'll do is I'll do this. With JDK 1.7. by layer versions of Java. And oops, I really don't want this with that. I did Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. For me, this is better. Okay. Any doubts so far?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Have you guys used the scanner object before?
No, I did not.
Okay, you did that. Okay. Fine. So I think I'll actually like stop the Java stuff here. We will see rest of them on Monday. But going forward, I'm going to I'll also show you right now how we use the SVN part. I did some changes to the code, so I want to check in these changes, or I want to make these changes available for you. Okay, so in that case, what I will be doing this is I'll explain. There are a few more steps before this. So what I'll do is I'll say Any one of you used SVN before?
No.
Okay. So then you got some learning here. So what I'm doing is I'm commenting the changes. Okay, and I'll explain what is a commit. Oops. And I sent you a link yesterday, other day. So right now let me go there. And I'm actually like hosting the code base on Google Code. Google Code is a place where you can, it provides all the required stuff to build projects. Generally to implement software projects, what we would need is, we need a place where we can put our code. Suppose if there are 2-3 developers, suppose we all of us are a team and I'm the lead for this project. So if we are working, then you need to have the code that I'm working with. If we will obviously will have dependencies. So my module might, like you may be interested to have progress on my module, or maybe that we are working in the same module. So we should avoid ambiguity or conflicts in the code. I write a method and you also write the same method with a different logic, and then when we look at that, I try to use your file, there is some conflict, it breaks, and it creates a lot of mess. So best way to do is that you use a repository system, and meaning we use a common mechanism. So we push the changes to the server. We push the changes to the servers. Now let us look at this file, Aperture Java. So I just now I did commit from Eclipse, and see the changes are pretty much here. So these changes are available for anyone on internet. As long as you have access to internet and you know that what to this URL path, you can pretty much access this code. Now how do I get benefit out of it? So you need to install a plugin called SVN plugin. That details I'll give you on Monday, because I want everyone else also to do the same thing. So I already have the Eclipse plugin, sorry, SVN plugin in the Eclipse. So otherwise what we need to do is we need to know the URL for the plugin, and then you need to add the plugin URL here. Okay, so the URL is nothing but whatever you see here. So you need to add this particular thing, okay, and then give a name. I already have it, that's the reason it is throwing error, but otherwise it will work. So you need to do this particular part, but we will do that. If any one of you are interested, you can do this. You can give this particular thing. Where is my one sec. Okay. I'll give you this URL, or I'll paste this in the chat window. And what you need to do is select this item, subclips, and then click next. And wherever it asks for approval, okay, or terms and conditions, you passively, okay. And it will take some time. It will take 10 to 15 minutes. It might take 10 to 15 minutes. And but don't worry about it, because it is supposed to, it will take some time. It will validate, it will get that particular thing working. And once, okay, Murli, you said you cannot see my screen. There's a old message, right?
Yeah, that's an old message.
Okay, perfect. So I gave you the link, the hyperlink alone. What you would be doing is, you will do this again on Monday. If you have, if you want to do little early, the option is that you add this, here you click add, give that whatever URL I pasted, okay, and you give name SVN and click OK. And in my case it's already there, that's the reason I cannot do it now. And then select this, click next. It will take some time, and then it will show these things. Okay. Okay. So when I click next, so look at this. It says accept terms and conditions and click finish. It takes a while, but don't worry about it. It takes a while, and then it will try to download that corresponding updates from internet. So you have to try this only when you're connected to internet, and that's a basic requirement. And it will take some time, and then once it is done, it will ask you to whether to restart, or it says apply changes. So you say that you better restart Eclipse, not about the computer. Okay, it needs restart of Eclipse. So when you are done with that, then what you need to do is window, show view, then SVN repositories. If it is not seen there, if you don't have this SVN repositories there, you need to click other. This is common in everywhere. Okay, wherever you are doing something, you are looking for something, if it is not there, click other in the bottom. Suppose if I want to build some web-based project, and maybe file new, oh my goodness, one sec, slow. I don't see the Java web project here, so I click other, and I'll go to Java EE, not even Java EE. You have web, and within the web I may be interested with dynamic web project. So I will be doing that, but for now you don't need what the gist of this is that if you don't see the options anywhere while doing anything, if you have other, please click that, and then browse through the corresponding location where you want to go. So now click OK, and I'll click cancel because I have worked already. Now here I say repository location. Now what is my repository location? Now let me see the checkout instructions. Look at this. This is the checkout repository location, and okay, that was for updates such as, okay, because I'm running update as well. So now I click this and click finish. It will come and sit in the repositories list. See here. This is the one I was talking about. When you install plugin, now there are two different threads. I'm trying to explain that SVN, and installing SVN and using SVN. So I'll just click apply changes now, because that's fine for me. So, and then I think I need to restart Eclipse. Restart. So I would actually make all of you as active members in the project, and what I'll do is I want to actually, one more thing that I want to do is, Srikanth, what is your mail ID?
It's Kant_2043.
Okay. Murli, Ranga Murli is your ID, right?
Ranga Murli 9.
Okay, because initially there was a big list given to me, and I want to remove them, and for you, Kant, right? Kant is Kant 2043, right? You want this one, or do you have any Gmail ID? Okay, Srikanth, do you have any Gmail ID? Srikanth?
I do have Gmail ID. If you want, I will give that.
Can you send that in email to me? So what I'll do is I'll add you people to the project here. I can actually add so that you can actually commit your code. I'll actually add. Earlier I had, you know, the earlier team is there, and maybe I'll add you guys as well, or maybe I'll remove them from this, and I'll add your names there, so that you can start working, you know, with me. So whatever code you are writing, you know, pretty much you check in there and you ask me to review, or like, you know, we can work closely with that. So everyday class, whatever I do, I don't need to send the code in a through a mail attachment. Rather, I'll say that okay, I'll commit at the end of each training session. I'll commit the code. So you can get that latest. And also one more advantage is that when earlier batch code is also there pretty much somewhere. So in the same project. So what you can actually, like, you know, the if you are already confident, or you know, you think that, you know, you are ahead of the training for few sessions, then you can explore other parts in advance. So we can do that. But I'll do this again. I'll do this again on Monday. So for now, maybe I'll close that this session. But you have any questions for me?
Sorry, you want me to send the email ID right now or?
Anytime. Right now it's not required. You can send me later as well. Anyway, I'll do this, you know, maybe, you know, I'll actually re-verify on Monday that overall, you know, Brett and Anuved also said that they will be joining. So I want their confirmation as well. You know, right now there are many people in the mailing list, but I want to remove them so that, you know, I don't want to clutter their mailbox, and I want to work with the selected few who are actually like pretty much there in this particular project, whatever training we are doing. So we will do that confirmation on Monday, and whoever is there on Monday, I'll add their IDs to the Google Code project.
Okay.
Okay. Fine.
You're fine.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. I'll see you on Monday.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.